You know Popeye, the lovable lunk who eats a lot of spinach and saves his girlfriend Olive from the train tracks? Have you ever wanted a horror film with Popeye as your villain? Of course not, but we have one. Today we're talking about Popeye the Slayer Man. The movie opens at like a dockyard and we see a woman running from something in the dark along these empty buildings. And the way she's running is hilarious. Like instead of like the Mission Impossible like good run, she's like it's you're not going anywhere fast, honey. No. Anyway, she's being chased. We see that she's being chased by two men. And she gets inside one of these like buildings. She unlocks a chain and heads in. These men follow her, and we get one of the guys saying that he's not too interested in going into this building.
What? What are you doing?
You shouldn't. Isn't this the place?
So you're afraid of ghosts now? Come on!
It's a little foreshadowing there. She's inside the building and running around, and she does stumble across Popeye in the dark, and he's just standing there watching her, but he doesn't go after her. So they're looking around for this woman, and they are just scouring, and she's hiding, and they find her, and...
Gotcha, bitch!
Cracked me up. I was like, that's great. I don't know why, but loved it. And then she runs off again, and they're still looking for her. And then they finally get her. They confront her, and they're like, how dare you steal Coke from us? She's like, I did it by mistake. How?
You think you just steal Coke from us and just walk away?
Please, I didn't mean to. Please, here, I'll pay you back.
Oh, you'll pay us back.
Anyway, then you hear this noise. Very disturbing noise, but then a can of spinach rolls out from the darkness. And then we see the figure, Popeye, the Slayer Man. And he attacks one of the men, and he is no more. And then he attacks the other guy and does this thing with his wrist, which really grossed me out. Anything with wrist just freaks me out. Everything else I can handle, just wrist, oh, gross. Anyway, so he does that, and then the woman's covered in blood, and she's like, you're a monster. And he says this.
You're a monster.
Oh, yeah. What? Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. This is great. We're in for a treat of a movie here. So then we open up to a university. I believe at first I thought it was high school, but then I saw these people at a bar later. So it's definitely like a university or a college or something like that. Then we meet some of our characters. Dexter, who seems to be like maybe a film student, his best friend Lisa, and then a new girl who's introduced to the group that seems to be friends with Dexter that he just met, who his friend Lisa does not like. Her name is Olivia. So she's gonna help Dexter and them with his project. I think it's his project, but they're doing like a film project about this mystery that happens at the dockyards and like why people go missing and all this stuff. So they wanted to do like a video and like history on this place. And then we're introduced to Seth, which is Lisa's either boyfriend or just like guy she's into. I don't know, but he's overly sexual and horny.
Maybe we should get together and make a little movie of our own.
Maybe.
Horny, so we know that means he's not going to fare well in this movie. In any horror movie, if you're too horny, you're done. You're done. Switch over to a woman at one of the warehouses with the guy who owns a warehouse, and he's trying to sell it. So I believe she's like a realtor or something like that, and like her company or whatever wants her to buy this, and they're going to demolish it. So she's talking with the guy who owns the building. The owner steps away for a little, so she's just kind of wandering around the facility, and she's getting kind of creeped out. She's like hearing stuff, she's smelling stuff. She's just getting a bad vibe from this place because she's heard all the stories about this place, so it's freaking her out. So she gets more and more freaked out, and then she decides that she's gonna hide. And then she sees someone coming, but what ends up happening is that it's actually just the security guard. So it's all good, jump scare. But the owner's upset because he said like the woman thought she heard something. So he's like, okay, well there's someone in here, like get rid of them. So he's the security guard to go look for whatever this is and get rid of them. So the security guard is like looking around, being all tough and stuff, and we know that Papa's gonna get him. He's gonna get him, and he gets him good. So we're taken to the bar with the gang as they get their other friend Katie to join them to help with their film. She's just finishing up at her work at the bar, and they're talking about what they're going to do. They're going to go to the docks and like film, and then this fisherman guy at the end of the bar who's clearly like drunk and just odd is like, oh, don't you guys go down there, and gives them like the lore.
My man is real.
and he doesn't take kindly to visitors stopping on his doorstep.
What exactly do you know about the Sailor Man?
I know enough to stay away from the old docks, especially at night. He forever haunts that place, waiting for the return of his lost love. Just like me.
Boyfriend Joey shows up at the bar with his two friends, Jesse and Terry, I believe, and Jesse is being like a creep and a perv, and so is Terry, which does not bode well for them surviving, right? We get it. Horn dogs never do well in these films. So Joey's mad that Katie's going to help with the film. He thinks she's like having some kind of fling with Dexter or whatever, but he's not loving it. See that Katie has like a burn or like some bruise on her arm, which we can only assume is from Joey, because later on he like grabs her, and it seems like he's not a good guy. So when everyone gets to the warehouse, Olivia sees Popeye up in the window, and she does not seem freaked out. She does not notify anyone, which may be like, she knows this guy. Is she the daughter? I love guessing too early in movies, but I was like, she doesn't seem creeped out enough. They'll go in and they start setting up their equipment, and they kind of like are branching off doing different things. And then we switch back to Joey and his gang, and he's getting all riled up, and his friends are like riling him up, being like, oh, she's definitely cheating on you. Why is she not answering your phone calls? Which it's like, she just left, bro, and she told you she's working on a project. Stop calling her. But they get him worked up, so they say they're going to go down there as well. And the fisherman guy once again pops up and gives them a warning.
Sailor Man is real. And if you trespass in his home, he'll gut you like an old car.
Shut up, Bernie.
They're like, you crazy old man, we're going anyway, because clearly my girlfriend's cheating on me. The gang splits up, and Lisa and Seth find like an empty spinach can. Dun, dun, dun. So we're waiting for him to show. Another empty spinach can like rolls out from like the darkness. There's Popeye, Slayer Man behind them, and then we see Kate, and she's kind of like dealing the security cam footage. Like, I don't know how she's linked into the building's security cams or whatever, but she's watching it, but she's like looking away, and you can see Popeye like in the security footage, but she obviously doesn't notice, but you can see him like lurking around. Then the woman who's like selling the building, who from earlier was like nervous, shows up, which I'm not sure why. I think they might have mentioned, but I kind of forget. She shows up, she sees Popeye, and he knows that she is going to sell this building and destroy it. He clearly doesn't want that. So he chases her down. She gets through a door, but some of her hair gets stuck, and he scalps her and then throws her in like a garbage compressor thing. Yeah. Ugh. We see Olivia and Dexter, and they find some like files about the building, and it's showing that they were like hiding stuff, that there was like chemicals and faulty equipment, and like the food that they were producing was tainted, but they suppressed it, and they were like the only news company, so they didn't allow any of this to get out. But obviously there was harm being done to people, and Dexter is flirting with Olivia, and she's like, no, I'm really not right now, I'm not interested. And then 2 seconds later she's kind of like into it, but I'm like, girl, you just said like you need some time, but whatever. So between the flirting, they do find out that it's like a neurological infection that is being caused by the spinach at this company, and that no one wanted this secret out. The group then comes across this area with a bunch of writing all over the walls.
When you smell the smoke from his pipe, he is near.
He will kill you if you show fear.
He gets his strength from a spinach can.
He is Popeye, the Sailor Man.
So then we're back at Kate, and she leaves like the security cam footage, and she like walks away somewhere, and then we see Popeye come in, and he's watching the security footage, and she's like la 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 la, not paying attention, and then she turns around, she sees him, and she's screaming, freaks out, and he goes after her. And then Joey and his group shows up, and they see Popeye chasing his girlfriend Katie, and like him and the gang are like, oh, we're tough, we're gonna take him, and they try to take him, and it does not go well. All of them kind of get hurt. One of them like hurts his arm, and then he's trying to like drive off, and then he can't because like Popeye's holding the back of his car, and Joey just runs off. He's done, and he leaves Kate behind. He's just like, peace girl, and just leaves, and Popeye's still there. And then we see Popeye going off for one of the other friends, and he's dragging an anchor which felt like a funny joke, like dropping anchor, but anyway, dragging an anchor, and he chucks it at the guy and finishes him. So as Joey's running away, he accidentally shoots Katie because she pops up in front of him, and he thinks it's Popeye, and he shoots her, and he doesn't seem that concerned. He should be more concerned. But the rest of the gang hear like Kate scream, so they're like, oh gosh, we gotta find her, we gotta figure out what's going on. But then they realize they're locked in, so they're like, this isn't good. So they're trying to find different ways out, and then they find this place where it's almost like looks like they can get to the roof, but I don't understand the setup. But like Seth is trying to like, get there, and he's like climbing over the railing, and then he falls. And then he's like caught his leg on like some material, and as he's pulling up, you can see like these steel beams like sliding. You're like, okay, I know where this is going. So those beams slide and like impale him, and you're like, oh god, okay, bye Seth, I told you you're a little too horny to survive this movie. So he's, and then Lisa's like, okay, gotta try to find a different way out. She runs a different way, sees Popeye, and then comes back the same way and tries to do the exact same thing she saw Seth just do a few minutes ago and fail. And she does it, she also fails and lands on top of him, on top of the spikes. God. Dexter and Olivia find where it seems like Popeye lives. It seems like his little nest, and they find photos of his wife and his child, a daughter, and just find like different information about him.
Olive oil. What's his wife's name? She must have worked here. Looks like she was a whistleblower about this place.
After she talks to the paper about the factory, she goes missing.
And then they hear him coming and they hide. So they realize the spinach is causing him to be that big and that like weird and aggressive, so they figured out it's the spinach causing it. So once Popeye leaves, Dexter and them come out and they're trying to find like their way out of this building, and they find like this like little pathway, which they assume that is what Popeye uses to get in and out of like the building and to like the wharfs, and just makes his way in and out without being detected. To Popeye and Dex like kind of like goes at him, and then Popeye like grabs him by the arm and is like holding him up, and Olivia's like, no, we'll let him go. Lets him go, and then they run off to like attend to the wound, but then they run into him again.
You know who I am. Daddy?
My sweet.
Oh, boom, he shot. Joey shoots him out of nowhere. And then Joey grabs like Lisa as like a hostage and takes like a can to her throat. At first I thought it wasn't open, but it was, so there's like the sharp edge. He's like holding it to her throat and like threatening Popeye that it'll hurt her. And that doesn't go well, and then Popeye just destroys Joey, which we're like, good. He was a jerk anyway. He really beats him up with his own arm, which I was like, that's great. Love. And then basically Lisa and Dexter are like, okay, we gotta go, but we'll come back for him. We're gonna come back and save him. We're gonna exonerate him and let people know that what they were doing here was wrong, and he's only this way because of like the tainted spinach, but we'll come back for him. And that's the end of the movie. Oh, and also Katie's fine. Popeye didn't go after her because she's like innocent. He didn't want anything to do with her. She's fine. And but anyway, it wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. It was like a decent like horror movie. Not scary, but it wasn't horrible. The acting was okay. So if you want like a fun, silly movie to maybe have like a drink to with some friends and like have a fun time, it's a fun little time. But anyway, thanks for joining. Bye bye.